Hey, natural born sisters. Welcome to another episode of Kinky in the Kitchen, where every swirl, curl, coil, and wave is celebrated. You'll hear inspiring stories from women who have left straight hair, wigs, and weaves behind, despite the discrimination and bias, to reclaim their power by rocking their natural hair. Be it spiraled, kinky, defined, or straight. Whether you're already a natural sister or still finding the courage to unleash your beautiful coils, you're not alone, and you're in the right place. Let's get to know your host. She's passionate about inspiring Black women to rock their natural hair with confidence, teaching our Black natural hair-wearing women how to show up despite hair discrimination and biases. She's natural like you and rocks her kinks in the kitchen loud and proud. She's Lisa E., aka Natural Born Sister.
What's up, Natural Born Sisters? It's your girl Lisa E., aka Natural Born Sister, aka Living My Best Life. Welcome to the Kinky in the Kitchen podcast, the show that highlights Black women who are rocking their natural hair with confidence despite discrimination and bias. Last week, y'all. Sis, did you tune in to last week's episode? Sisters, last week we had Miss Jessica Billups in the building. She gave it with no holds barred. That sister right there was giving all types of confidence, bold and beautiful. And did you see that, bro? Man, if we was the same age and I knew her when I had my struggles with coming out natural, she would definitely be my best friend. But if you missed it, please check it out on YouTube under the Kinky in the Kitchen's YouTube page and hit her up on her social media and say something nice. And if you did, tell her how you like her show, her hair, anything. Share your takeaways and rap about it with her. She's a very nice sister and she definitely will talk to you. And like any other show, I enjoyed hers. But today, it's all about fam, y'all. Our next guest is speaking about versatility. I rock my natural one week and a wig or weave the next. It's not about coming out natural because she does. It's just about the versatility. We chopped it up about how we were brought up by our grandmother who cracked the whip every 2 weeks on pressing our hair. Burnt ears and all, y'all. But guess what? We were cute. And remember, this is where it all started. Being pressed about getting pressed was a thing. You could not go outside without your hair not done. It had to be pressed. And then relaxers became popular. It was just something we did, and it stuck with us into our adult years, which is a contributor to us not wearing our natural hair. We did what our mothers, grandmothers did, and the curse continued, and it does still continue. That's one of the biggest reasons we did not transition. We also talking Black on Black biases, and if you didn't know that this existed, you need to wake the hell up because it did and it still does. We are talking about that too. So, without further ado, I give you my cousin, natural born sister, Shamiqua Smith. Hey, Meek, what's up, girl? How you doing today?
I'm good. Hey, Lee. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. I want to welcome you to the show. I'm so glad you're here. You know, everybody has their different stories, and what I want to do is like let other women know that everybody has their issues too when it comes to natural hair, and that they're not alone. So the first question I'm going to throw at you today is, of course, the same question I throw at everyone I interview is, what made you start with your natural hair? And I know there's a transition in your life where there were times where you would bounce back and forth. So I wanted you to tell us a little bit about when you decided to go natural and what made you go to the transitions of back and forth.
Okay, well, let me see. I initially went natural when I was about 17. I was like the end of high school. I noticed my hair would fall out. I was always relaxing my hair. I would always relax my hair and dye it jet black. Like jet black was my color. And I said, let me try something different. I began to wear wigs. I remember the first time I bought a wig. And I kind of like the idea of being able to switch it up. So wearing wigs, I just allowed my hair to stay natural under the wig. So I would just kind of, wash my hair, treat it, throw it. Then at one point, I wanted to do certain styles that kind of required my hair to be straight. And my hair in the humidity kinks up like nobody's business. So
yeah, I know about the kink.
Yes. So it was like, okay, let me relax it. So I would go between, and I thought like, oh, there's a difference if I get a texturizer, but it's really no difference between a texturizer and a relaxer. It's still a chemical. So I would do texturizers for a little bit, and then eventually I kind of weaned off of that. And I just let my hair just grow naturally. And I probably did that for maybe about 6 years before I put a relaxer in. What made me put a relaxer in, I don't even know. I was just looking for a change. I wanted something different. Like I say, I don't mind. I like to wear my hair straight. I like to wear weaves sometimes. I like to wear wigs. My hair itself, I kind of really don't, I don't really wear my hair out. Like, because I have always had an issue with the humidity, with the weather. It rains, forget about it. Any type of moisture in the air, forget about it. So it's just, I like my hair. I love my hair, but it's just too much to manage. And I just always felt that it was just easier to just throw something on top of it and just go.
Yeah, that was even me at one time. It's like wigs was the thing. It was easier for me. But like you said, you still have to take care of your hair underneath. You condition it, wash it. And I was always keeping cornrows under it. Like I know some people that would just throw a wig over their hair and don't do anything to it. And by the time they take it off, it just looks like who did it in rant. But you have to be able to take care of your hair still. Just because you put a wig on it, that means you don't show neglect to your hair. That does not mean you should show neglect to your hair. So yeah, I find that very interesting because you never think of those things as far as humidity. Like, okay, if you go outside, if it's wet or moist outside, your hair's going to get messed up. But some people never think of the option of, well, let me go through a relaxer in it. For you, what was that? Was that like an issue as to, it was like, just to make it easier for you, or just you was like, forget it, I don't feel like being bothered with it? Like, what was in your mind when you said, you know what, I'm just going to put a perm in it because I don't want to go through this anymore?
So for me, trying to flat iron your natural hair, it wasn't giving me, I guess it just kind of wasn't giving what it was supposed to. Like I would flat iron my hair, but it wasn't giving me that bone straight. Because if I have a straight weave in, I want it to look as if it's all unison. I don't want it, you could be able to tell, oh, yeah, she got a weave. I like everything to look flawless. So for me, I would have to relax it because it just wasn't doing it for me on its own. And then eventually, flat ironing your hair so much will also damage your hair. So you kind of take a little step back. As when I have a relaxer, I'm not flat ironing as much. I'm going to say I didn't, but it wouldn't be consistently as opposed to if I didn't.
Okay. Understood. Do you think the way we want to wear our hair, like straight, is it more so the way we grew up, because grandma, straightened our hair, mom straightened our hair, and we always had that notion that we should have straight hair like the Europeans do, coming from that age and different things going on with the hair. Do you think it's from that, because you got used to it, or do you think it's because, all right, so how the culture is now with the wigs and straight hair and different styles and trying to achieve it? I know you said that you would straighten your own hair to achieve certain styles, but what about the wig? Was it the same with wearing the wig, or was it something that comes from back in the days us growing up?
That's a good question. I can say, I believe it does have some type of impact on me wearing straight hair because, I guess, natural hair wasn't the thing growing up.
Sure wasn't.
No, at all. So, everybody wore straight hair or wore some type of weaves or, so I believe that probably does have something to do with it. But when it comes to my wigs are versatile. I recently bought a kinky wig. I said, let me see something. Yeah. So, just to see how it matches my texture. And I don't know. I just really love wigs. I love the versatility of it. I love that when it's a long day at work, I could just take it off, put it on a mannequin, and enjoy the rest of my night.
Girl, the mannequin, the styrofoam heads. Yeah, I got a couple of.
Yes.
Oh man. All right. So we talk about, growing up with our hair getting straightened and everything. And I always talk about this with my guests because I want to get everyone's point of view. So what about the ones that there was always one or two girls you would see wear their natural hair? And for me, back in my days, when the little girls that was coming up wearing their natural hair, they would try to put their hair in a little ponytail. They had the TWAs, and we used to tease them, and when you think about it, you get older and you're like, damn, I wish I didn't do that. And you're so apologetic for it now. What is your take and feeling on that as well? If you experience something like that, first let me know if you have experienced something like that. And if you did, how do you feel about it now as you got older?
I hadn't experienced anything like that.
Okay. You're lucky. Because you don't have to feel apologetic, from doing it. And that's great.
Yeah.
I was so bad. Okay. So I was like, look
Really?
at my hair. Yeah. Because, everybody was doing straight. And it's like, what are you coming outside with? Like, come on, get with it. Like, come on. But it's like, I mean, I don't know. You go with the flow of everything. It's the majority. And I do feel bad about doing that. And I always say I'm sorry to those girls if I've ever offended anyone. And there's also people that do it as adults, like especially if they're so comfortable with their hair straight or wearing the wigs. And again, the hair industry is $1 billion industry. So
absolutely,
you're still going to definitely have a lot of those people who are wearing wigs and their hair straight. So the purpose of doing Kinky in the Kitchen is to kind of like bridge those gaps, like allow everyone to be natural and be themselves. Even if you have a wig on and your hair is natural underneath, for me, that's a step moving forward. It's like, okay, I'm in there, but I'm not 100% ready yet. And that's okay. But you've been in there, you've exposed it at one time. So that's why I think your story is interesting too, because it's like, you feel in you that you should be natural and you have your hair natural, but you're just not ready for it 100%. You're going to flip and flop, and that's good. But what about for those who will keep it on all the time? It could also be a step forward, but I don't know where it's going to take you if you feel like you can never, ever take it off, and people
that's
love
true.
that versatility. So
absolutely.
Yeah, I love that you have that versatility and you'll be able to go back and forth. I just want to get your take on how people are treated, regarding hair discrimination. Like in my case, what really held me back from taking off the wig or not wearing my hair naturally, like, of course, I would do weaves and braids and things like that, was my corporate office. When you're in the office, I work, predominantly white people that are there. And it's very uncomfortable when the conversation of your hair comes up, the topic of your hair comes up, and that someone's like looking at you. Oh God, I remember waiting for an elevator one day, and a coworker from a different department was like, she did a 360 around my whole body looking at my hair. And I'm like, what? What's going on? She's like, I love your hair. So I'm saying to myself, like, why you just can't tell me that? Why you got to go around my whole body and to see what's going on? That's very uncomfortable. Like, why you trying to make me uncomfortable? I'm already having issues with my hair. I know it's not my hair. Now, are you going to ask me, is that my hair now? So a whole bunch of questions is coming in my head. So she talks about the color because, Meek, as you know, I wear gray hair. So even if I wore extensions or a wig, it was also gray. So they used to like that. And I just wondered if anyone would ever ask me, is that your hair? But then I would think, well, the white person wouldn't know to ask that, right? They will automatically think that's your hair. And that was the case. But when the color came up, so how do you answer? Okay, so the hair is not real, but then they ask you about the color. How did you get the color in it? Not knowing that this weave or wig already came with that color. So now it's like you still trying to answer, okay, this is not my hair because of the color. So I'm like, of course I would just say, yeah, I colored it that way. You just try to avoid the bullshit because implicit bias can really take a toll on the person who's experiencing it. And it's really difficult to deal with. I don't care how confident you are. I don't care if you're feeling good about what you're doing. There's going to be some type of way you're going to feel because questions can become very uncomfortable about your hair. So I want to ask you, like, if people ever ask you about your hair and focusing more on the Caucasian community, Have you ever experienced anything like that as far as that goes?
I have. When I was working in retail, I was always one to wear my hair however I feel. Like it's really up to how I'm feeling. So whether it's colors or coarseness or however, or even down to the curl, it didn't matter to me. But I would always, like I say, I used to wear my hair straight a lot.
Mhm.
And a person would say, "Oh, that's pretty," or "That's a pretty color." I had a bluish purple color in at one time. And she's like, "Oh, that's so pretty. Your hair is so pretty." And I'm like, "Oh, thanks." And like you, I thought the next question would be, is that your hair? But she kind of just, like you said, it was just like looking at me the whole time during the transaction.
Mhm.
And, it felt a little uncomfortable, but she didn't take it a step further. So we kind of left it there. But in my mind, like you, I thought, dang, I wonder if she know it's not my hair. And
Yes.
even if she asks, I'm going to tell her it is my hair because I bought it.
Yes,
So
yes.
it's mine.
Yes, and that's the feeling that you hit the nail on the head. Me, that's the feeling that I'm talking about. If
Mm-hmm.
somebody say one thing about your hair, especially if it's of another race, there's something that happens inside. It's like, oh my God, is she gonna ask me this? And we shouldn't have to feel like that about what's on top of our heads. And I think that it's got to be some type of way that we could kind of break that up. I mean, people are going to be who they're going to be. And the way we accept it is going to be the way we accept it. But how we deal with it is a different way. So, like you said, you was ready for her. If she did ask, you already knew what you was going to say. And that's the only thing that we
Mm-hmm.
can really do, you know. And I like the answer. I mean, it's on your head. It's really nobody's business that you have
Mm-hmm.
someone else hair on your head. Because I used to say the same exact thing. It's nobody's business because I don't have my hair on my head. It's mine. It's still mine. It's not yours. It's mine.
It's
So
mine. Hello.
that's
I
right.
bought it.
Exactly. So that's what I love. I love about you, how you said you was ready, even though it does something to us on the inside. I just can't.
Yeah. It makes you feel
It
uncomfortable.
really
Like
does.
just say you like my hair and that we can leave it at that. You don't
That
have
was,
to
yep,
stare anymore because I'm pretty
yep,
sure you were staring when you were on the line,
yep. That
So
was always my
you
point.
like it, thanks.
That's
Hmm.
it.
But I do have something to say is that sometimes, us sisters, we
Mm,
tend to have a lot to say about each other's hair
yeah.
cruelly, like, "Oh, that's not her hair," or that,
Hmm.
no, she can't grow that hair like that. Like as if we don't grow hair, because we all grow hair.
Of course.
Whether we grow, some grows it a little longer than others, but
Yeah.
we shouldn't downplay each other because of our hair texture.
You're right. We still do it. I don't think it's much now because it's here is all out in the open now. Again, a million
Mm-hmm.
dollar industry, everybody's like, everybody knows it's a weave, it's a wig now, or you know what I mean? It's just like, even though it looks nice and it looks natural, those conversations don't come up like that no more because it's all on TV. We used to seeing it and it's just there now. But I do remember we used to always say, yeah, that's not her hair. That's not her hair. She got weave in her hair. You
Mm-hmm.
know what I mean? So yeah, we've really been through that hard. So I get it. I get it. Like back then, sometimes I'd be scared to go out. Like I know I had a weave, but my hair would look nice. But then I knew
Mm-hmm.
that conversation would come up eventually. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah. All right. Yeah. I feel you, girl. So have you ever seen anything? I know we talked about the corporate piece. I want to know, have you ever seen any stories here on racial discrimination, whether it be on TV, social media? Have you ever seen any stories that really got to you that made you say, you know what, that was fucked up?
I did actually. It was like maybe on the news or maybe a show. I really can't recall, but it was in reference to women where their hair, like they lock their hair,
Mhm.
and it was a lot of women that was working in corporate, and they would tell them, "Oh, well, you have to cut your locks off," and it's like, why? I'm here to
Mhm.
do a job. Why does it matter what my hair looks like?
Right.
But
Right.
they wanted you to fit the type of culture in the office or however. And that was really unfair. I feel like your hair is your accessory. So whatever you choose to do to it it's your prerogative.
That's
It
right.
shouldn't make or break any type of situation.
That's right. Totally agree. I think I even heard a situation similar to what you're saying. Maybe it was the same story. Maybe this was just part of that story where they told the young lady at work that, oh, she can't wear her hair like that. She has to straighten it. I'm like, who are you to tell me what to do to straighten my hair? You know? And
Mm-hmm.
I did an interview with one woman where she was telling me that, well, white women what they do is make their hair curly, and what we do is make ours relaxed. So why can't we transition back to curly like when the white women do it to curly when they get those perms? So I think it's so unfair. It makes us feel like we don't have our place in the world. Like they're so constantly focused and digging into our hair that it's like, okay, our hair is us. We are our hair. Our hair makes us. Like this is where we come from. Our hair
Exactly.
is kinky, it's natural, and it's also versatile.
Very.
I like to talk about the things you can do with natural hair. Like even with mine, like I learned how to manipulate my hair because when I first started wearing my hair, I didn't know what the hell to do with it. So of course I went to the hairdresser over in Brooklyn, Helen, the one that I recommended you to.
Yes.
And she showed me how to make my hair more manageable. I said, oh shit, I'm going to step in another, I'm moving forward. I'm going in another direction with it. Now I know how to make my hair moisturized to the point where I could comb it, because combing natural hair is always a challenge because it can become very painful depending on how kinky your roots are. Tresses can become so intertwined with each other. Like I know for me, my hair is super coily. And when she showed me how to make my hair so moisturized and nice, I was like, okay, maybe I can do something with it. So I started experimenting on my own hair. In the process, it starts breaking out. Now, I'm not going to say it's because of products I use or what I've done to it, because it could also be something internal like stress, or, that could be a factor as well. So I used to do some nice things with it. I used to like play in it and gel and conditioner and all time, and my hair used to come out to satisfaction to me. I'm not going to say it came out really nice, but I was still learning. But for me, I liked it. And I like looking in a mirror and manipulating my tresses. And my favorite style to wear is, I always tell people, is the mohawk style, because I always like my sides up. Like even as I was growing into adulthood, when I would wear wigs and weaves, I would like my hair in a ponytail because I like how my face looks when my hair is upward. So even now with my natural hair, I like to wear it up. So I'll mohawk it the best way I can. And I think I do a decent job, but I'm also still afraid of cutting my hair in a mohawk. So I just push it up. So I'm good with that for now. I might not even look good with ball sides. So I'm not even ready to try it yet. But yeah, that's the thing. Like when you first started, and I know you got your license too, right? Am I right? For hairstyle?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I thought that was really dope that you did that. But when you first started introducing yourself to your natural hair, like having to do it after getting perms and stuff, how did that make you feel? Did you say, this is hard, this is terrible? I don't know what texture hair you are. Maybe you can say what texture hair you are if you know what that is too as well. I just want to know how you felt when you first was introduced to having to comb your natural hair.
So I must say, even before going to school and learning about hair and everything, my hair is always a challenge. I have very coarse hair. Let's say they have like the number system. So I would say my hair is between a 4B, 4C.
Okay.
At least I believe so. So, like you say, combing it is a process. You must use some type of detangler before you throw any comb through your hair, before you rake your hair. It's all a process.
I want to know, like, were you, for me, I was pissed because I'm like, I can't do this. I can't. Like, you'll just throw the comb down and I can't do this because I'm so used to being able to comb my hair straight. Like, did you have like that feeling around it, or you was patient and you was like, I'm just going to do it because I got to do it?
I had very much patience with it. I can say that. It was a little frustrating, because sometimes it can be very painful, but
yeah,
she's always done our hair growing up. So she'll be like, no, you got to comb it from the ends and comb it down to the roots. So, you have an idea, because you have some women that'll just rake their hair straight from the roots. So I kind of always had a little bit of patience when it came to my hair.
Yeah, you seem to be a patient person. That's one thing I'm jealous of, because I don't have patience, but I'm learning a whole lot, So I think it's a work in progress for me, but yeah, I'm getting there. That's what I always admired about you. So speaking of our grandmother, we call her Mommy. Yes, she really did good for our hair. I'm wondering if I should post some pictures of our hair when we was growing up. When Mommy used to do our hair. I think
Oh,
that'll be
that'd be
fun.
cool.
Yeah, I'm gonna see if I
Yeah.
can get some together. If you have some too, that'll be cool, and I can post them up on the website. But under this actual podcast, I will post it. Yeah, I think that would be really cool.
Yes.
Uh,
From the hot combs to the
I
cornrows to the
know.
extensions. Yeah.
Yeah.
Granny was like our personal hairstylist growing up.
Yes, she was. Yes, she was, sister. She was like the best. And I remember once I went to camp. I used to go to this Bible camp. Actually, I'm not gonna say I used to go because I only went once because I hated the experience and I never wanted to go back. And my brother and cousin they
Oh.
went every year. And mommy, I think it was mommy who braided my hair. Anyway, I had my hair braided, and back then extension with braids was a thing. And I went to the camp, and the girls used to look at my hair, and there's always that one bold girl, right, that has something to say, like,
Mm-hmm.
"That's not your hair." So I look at her like, "What do you mean it's not my hair? It's on my head, right?" So she's like, "Yeah, that's not your hair. Those are extensions." And I'm like, "And how do you know that?" She said, "I don't know. Everybody wear extensions." I'm like, "Well, that don't make it because everybody wear. That don't mean mine is extensions." This is another black girl because back then we used to get it from our own, like I was saying before,
Mm-hmm.
and that too made me feel discomforting. So it doesn't matter the color of your skin; it's what you say. And I felt very disappointed in her because I'm like, why is she doing this to me? This is another black girl, and I guess there was some sort of jealousy because and I'm just saying this because this is my opinion from what I felt like I saw. Her hair wasn't done. Like, I guess whoever was taking care of her, maybe she came to camp on like how they have those programs where you can go to receive the camp for
Mm-hmm.
free. So maybe she was in a situation like that, but I never approached her about that. I'm like, I would never say, "What are you doing here? Why your hair looks like that? But why are you getting on me because I have extensions in my hair?" And my hair was very nice because it was freshly done because they wanted me to have that for camp. My mother wanted me to have braids in my hair. Nobody never came to you and questioned you about your hair, but you're going to question me about my hair. I thought that was like very discomforting and like, why is she doing this to me? Why is she doing this? So that's all I kept, in my head. Like, what the hell is going on? But then, you become people, I wouldn't say friend, they become your biggest fan, right? So you see
Absolutely.
another person with hair extensions in their hair, but you could tell it was extensions because back in the day, depending who was braiding your hair, like at the top when you braid it, you could see that loop. Hers had those loops right at the
Mm-hmm.
blend in. So they saw her. Oh my God. Now they my friend. They be like, "Who did your hair? Her hair look better than yours." I'm like, "What the heck is going on here now? Come on." Like, are you with me or you're not? We're like, come on. So it's very interesting growing up as a kid when it came to your hair. So there's always those
Absolutely.
stories. Okay, so we can end it here. Before you go, is there anything you like to say to our sisters or anything from an experience or any advice you want to give them, especially you coming from the licensed hairdresser? Anything you can share with them that they can take away, whether it's from your experience, whether it's from your profession or anything like that?
I think I would just want to say that, the hair is yours, however you want to wear it. If whether you wearing your own hair or you wearing someone else's, it's yours. You wear it how you want to wear it. And, don't allow others to make you feel ashamed for it. It's yours. It's your accessory. So like whether you want to wear it long, you want to cut it bald or however, it's yours. Wear it how you want. And just make sure you take care of it while you wear it though. And
Yeah,
take care of your hair.
definitely. That's the key thing. Well, I got a lot out of this, Meek girl. And I hope the other sisters that are listening also get a lot out of it as well. It was not only interesting, but it was very educational. And I just want you to know that whatever you do, like you said, it's your accessory. You rock it the way you want to rock it, as long as you take care of it.
That's right.
So I just want to thank you again for coming on the show. Thank you for coming on Kinky in the Kitchen. And I hope that your natural hair journey continues for you in a positive way. Whatever it is that you're doing, as long as it makes you happy and you're comfortable with it. And sisters out there, I want you to be comfortable with your hair as well. Never let anyone tell you how you should wear your hair. Let's try to get rid of those discomforts when anybody come approach us. Let's continue to display confidence in everything that we do when it comes to our hair. And Meek, one more question I want to ask you before you go. Have you decided on what t-shirt you're choosing?
I haven't yet decided. I'm undecided. I love them all, to be honest with you.
Okay.
So I would have to let you know exactly which one I'm going to choose.
Absolutely. Take your time. Make sure you get the right one you want. And I have to say, thank you for joining the show. Didn't I tell you? See how she flipped it? Literally. Versatility was that game changer for her. Look, like I said in a previous episode, it's the transparency and the vulnerability as these stories do relate. My takeaway here is that you can still be versatile, show up, and still know what you have in being a natural born sister. Look for her on social media in the podcast description if you would like to ask her more questions about her journey, or if you would like to thank her for sharing her stories and inspirations with you, or if you felt that it helped you in some kind of way and you want her to know. Hit her up.
That's all for today. What feelings are you left with? Do you have questions, thoughts? DM on IG at Natural Born Sister and let's talk about it. Oh, and don't forget to leave us a rating on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. They really help us grow and reach more women who need company on their hair journey. We'll chat it up next week.